Okay, so you grew up in Wistow. Did you go to school in Wistow?
Very, very briefly, and then I ended up at Mount Barker Primary School.
Okay.
Mount Barker High School.
Yep.
So, being a Wistow girl, I was still a Mount Barker girl.
Did you ride your horse to
I
school?
had a horse. Yes, on quite a few occasions I rode my horse to school
What
when
did
I was
you do
in
with
high
it?
school.
I mean, kids nowadays leave their car in the car park. Did you leave it in the car park?
No, over at the showgrounds, at Mount Barker Showgrounds, there was a bit of an old stable there, and
Okay.
I'd leave him there and go off to school and then ride home again.
And he liked that, hanging out in the stable all day?
Oh, he was a very lazy horse, so
Okay.
he probably slept.
Okay, fair enough. So that was high school?
Yes.
How did you get to school during primary school? Because you were living at Wistow and you went to Mount Barker Primary.
Well, I went to school on the back of a Bedford truck.
It sounds like there's a bit of stories in that one.
Certainly is. The boys' home, Eden Park Boys' Home, which is at Wistow,
Yep.
they had a Bedford truck and they'd put this canopy over it. I think it was probably fiberglass, and it had some platform seats.
Okay.
Platform seats? Anyway.
Yeah, benches.
Benches, that's the word I wanted. And they would come and pick up the local girls and boys and
all the Eden
all the
Park
boys from Eden Park who went to high school. I think they had their own primary school there.
Okay.
I don't think the boys went to Mount Barker Primary School. And we'd head off to school. But Monday mornings were very, very interesting.
Why?
Well, during the weekend, they want to use the Bedford truck around the farm at Eden Park for
Doing farm
stuff.
So there'd be hay and things used on it.
The
on
hay and
weekends?
stuff, that was not a problem. They would lift the fiberglass canopy off with some ropes and pull it up into the pine trees.
That's a good idea. Good
yes.
storage.
Yes, good storage. So on Monday morning, they would put the canopy back on, complete with various spiders and other creepy crawly things.
Did you walk to school on Mondays?
It was very scary, I can tell you.
Oh.
And so you'd come round and because it was a truck, you had to get up into the back of the truck.
Yeah.
There was this wooden ladder that the boys would put down for you to climb up.
That's nice of
That,
them.
of course, was if they were in a good mood.
Oh.
If they decided that they didn't want that, you'd have to throw your bag up and then pull yourself up into the truck, which is when you're a reasonably fit but a little bit short girl. Was very interesting at times. And then you'd
Not
get
quite
up
tall
there
enough.
and on Monday mornings you'd look around, spy out where all the spiders were, sit as far as you could away from them, and then depending what the boys were feeling like, they would throw the spiders at you.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
So Monday morning was always exciting, shall we say?
Yeah, it sounds like it. So an interesting trip to school on a Monday morning.
Certainly was.
How did the boys behave generally on the school trips? Yeah, apart from throwing spiders at you and not letting you in the truck, of course.
No, they were great. They were nice. And,
good.
Everybody knew everybody, and all the Wistow kids that got picked up. We'd all grown up together, and we'd go round the back past the boys' home again. I can't remember the road that we'd go along, but it was very bumpy and dusty, and we'd pick up Wendy Hornabrook and Ruth Stevenson. And,
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Ruth.
Yeah, hi, Wendy. Hi, Ruth. Off the side of the road, once again with the ladder, if the boys or not.
So if you're on the bus on truck, it wasn't a bus. If you're on the truck by then, did you let the ladder down for the girls, or did you just go with what the boys were into?
No. That was designated boys' domain.
Okay.
Yes, we couldn't have girls doing that. No,
we just make them climb up without the ladder.
Yes,
fair enough. I'm going to have to talk a bit more about these old-fashioned school days of yours. It sounds
well,
very interesting.
It was the 50s.
It was the 50s.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting things happened in the 50s. Mount Barker Primary School was the one you went to?
Mount Barker Primary School, yes. It was actually at the corner of Druids Avenue and Adelaide Road.
I know that place.
Beautiful old building. I think Mr. Sexton's in there now. And it was lovely. I started there in grade 3.
Yeah.
I can't remember my grade 3 teacher. I think grade 4 was Mrs. Schroeder.
Mm-hmm.
Grade 5 was Mrs. Miles, and she scared me, really scared me.
Uh-huh. So were you very well behaved in grade 5?
Probably not.
Oh, well, that might have something to do with it.
And then grade 6, we had Mr. Murphy, Tom Murphy, and then we're very fortunate because he also went with us to grade 7. And he was a fantastic teacher. He had the best stories, and we could always distract him from work by asking him about something. You know, tell us about the war when you were up in New Guinea. And he would tell us all these stories, and then he'd realise that we'd distracted him.
And you'd miss maths.
He'd probably keep us in.
Oh.
No,
so you didn't think that perhaps that tactic was backfiring on you and you should just get on with your schoolwork?
No. He was great. Everybody loved him.
Oh, good. And you had him for 2 years?
Had him for grade 6 and grade 7.
Excellent.
But primary school, it was interesting at Mount Barker. We got milk.
The old school milk
bottles.
program to keep everybody happy and healthy and have their calcium intake.
That's right. Now, I was brought up on a dairy farm.
So you already had lots of calcium?
I didn't like milk.
Hang on. You grew up on a dairy farm and you didn't like milk?
No, probably because I knew where it came from.
Okay. Yeah, modern kids don't often have that issue.
And the milk would arrive and you'd have milk monitors.
I bet you were a milk monitor.
We took it in turns being a milk monitor.
Okay.
But in the summer, the milk would arrive, and by the time you got it, it would be warm with about an inch of cream on the top. It was disgusting.
Oh, that sounds awful.
And you had to drink the milk.
That's because it was provided by the education department or the government?
Education department, government, probably paid for by the government through the,
And so, of course, if it's provided by the government, you must have it because it's good for you.
Well, it was probably from wartime, I suppose, or before that, when kids didn't get their milk, especially if they were in the city. In the country we did because we were surrounded by cows. But it was awful. And I remember my mother got me these flavoured straws.
They still have them,
Do they?
Yeah, you can get flavoured straws and they come in all sorts of flavours.
We
so
had chocolate and strawberry.
Yep.
And so I tried drinking it with the flavoured straws, but it wasn't any better. I didn't like it. Didn't like the milk at all.
Okay.
No.
So were you a good little child in primary school?
I think grade 6 and 7 I was pretty good.
Oh, when you had that Mr. Murphy?
Tom Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think then I was pretty good. I don't think my grade 3, 4 and 5 teachers thought much of me.
Oh.
I wasn't very tidy.
Oh,
and,
okay. So bits and pieces everywhere.
No. My writing wasn't tidy.
Oh,
but when I got into grade 6, I had my eyes tested and they realised that I couldn't see.
Oh, that would be a thing.
And I got a lot tidier once I could see what I was doing.
That would be very, very helpful.
But I can still remember the ruler across the knuckles because you're untidy.
Untidy, so we must punish you into being tidier.
Yes, it didn't work.
Okay.
We had ink and pens with nibs.
So you weren't back in the days of slate?
Well, when I was in grade 1, we had a slate with chalk.
Wow. Did the dinosaurs help you with that?
I'll deal with you later.
So you had slate in junior primary?
Well, that was in grade 1. I remember that. That was at my Ponga primary school.
Oh, okay.
But there were inkwells, and you'd, dip your nib into the inkwell. And we'd sat at these old desks that had a rail across the back of them.
Yeah.
And I had long plaits. So the boys behind me would have great fun. They would dip the end of my plaits into the ink and then flick me. So my mum could never work out why I always had ink on the back of my dress.
Did it wash out?
Oh, I guess it must have. And then they would tie my hair, one plait over and one plait under the railing. And so when I stood up, I nearly took my head off.
Ouch.
They used to think that was very funny.
Oh, what lovely children. Were these the same boys who were throwing spiders at you on the way to school on Monday morning?
No.
Oh, so these are a different set of boys.
Yes, hello, James Preusker. It was you.
Okay,
yes.
I'm going to have to look out for this James Preusker person.
Yes, I remember well. And
Tormenting little girls.
Yes, and the Prosser twins. They had great fun too.
Now, they're still around the area, aren't they?
They all are.
Yes.
They're great people. Now they've grown up.
Good. Let's talk about some more of your memories from
dear.
Mount Barker. Now, you talked about primary school.
Yes.
And your fun with the inkwells and the boys tying your hair to the seats. And the milk. The milk that you had. Just,
the milk.
You know, sitting in the sunshine all morning. That's great.
Yuck.
High school.
Yes.
When you did you ride your horse every day?
No. Just occasionally.
Just when you felt like it.
Still on the boys' home bus.
Okay, so off to high school at Mount Barker High.
Yes.
And tell us some of your adventures from then.
I was very good.
Of course you were.
And very quiet.
I believe you.
Yes, I can hear a couple of people rolling around the floor laughing.
Yeah, I know some of their names.
No, high school was good. I enjoyed it. I was a teacher's pet. For English.
How nauseating.
For
But
English.
only for English. What about
only
all
for
those
English.
other subjects? Were you the teacher's pet in sewing?
We didn't do that at high school. We did that in primary school, and I hated it.
You still had it.
I do. It turned me off. It turned me off sewing anything. It was awful.
Oh, dear.
And my stitches were never quite good enough. No, I wasn't made to be a
Must try
seamstress.
harder sort of thing.
Yes, hated it. But high school, we did wonderful subjects like agriculture. I loved agriculture.
Because you were so fond of the cows.
No, but agriculture was good. We had a great teacher. He was about 6'6" tall, though.
Oh, okay.
What was his name? Mr. Bowden or something like that. But he was very, very tall.
And a good ag teacher.
He was a very good agricultural teacher.
That's good. So what was it like being in high school back then?
Well, you always wore uniform.
Yeah.
Boys and girls were in the same classes, but we were separated for the talk.
The talk.
The talk.
Oh, the talk.
Yes, the girls were taken into the library, and Miss Voden, the headmistress, gave us the talk.
I can imagine how detailed it was.
And the boys were off getting their talk. Yes.
Okay.
It was the highlight of the year, I can tell you.
Is that before the life education van with the giraffe?
Yes, well before that.
Yes.
Well before that.
Okay. So you had the talk at school?
Yeah, we had that
Did
talk.
you find it very informative?
I can remember giggling all the way through it.
Oh, no. Although that sounds pretty normal.
Yes. But, school was okay. We had a great headmaster, Mr. Scriven.
Mr. Scriven. Now, I've seen reports about Mr. Scriven.
He was
in the
really nice
local
man.
newspaper archives.
Ah, you've been going through the archives?
Yes.
Oh, what have you found in the archives?
I can't remember what I read about Mr. Scriven, but I know it was all good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was a great teacher.
Yes.
Yes.
And I saw that there were scholarships at school for all the clever kids.
Probably.
And
I don't
someone
think
we
I
know
was
got
there.
a scholarship when he was in high school.
Who was that?
That was Mr. Pat Scott.
Pat Scott got a scholarship.
He got a scholarship,
Did he?
and it was reported in the Courier.
Ah, no, hang on. Now, I can remember somebody from my class getting a scholarship to university.
Oh.
Graham Gallus. He was very, very clever.
Hi, Graham.
Yes, I remember that. Gosh, he's probably running a multinational company somewhere.
Oh, we're going to have to Google him and find out all about what he's doing. How much use he made of that university scholarship that he got.
Yeah, he was one of the kids that I went right through school with, primary school and high school. There were several of them that were very clever.